Hello everyone, I am Miss Elina and today I am here with a very interesting topic. All organisms share some common characteristics. All living organisms need food, air, water to survive and grow. Just as a building is made up of bricks, so does our bodies. Our body is made up of cells. Yes, today we are going to discuss about cells. Cells, they are the structural and functional unit of our body. Cells, they combine together to form tissues. Tissues, again they combine together to form organs. Different organs, they combine together to form an organ system, and an organ system, the different types of organ system combines to form one organism. Some organisms like Paramecium, Euglena, Chlamydomonas have single cell. They are known as unicellular, and the other organisms like plants, animals, and even we human beings have many cells to carry out our day-to-day life activities. So we are multicellular, or the plants and animals are multicellular. The organisms which are made up of number of cells are known as multicellular organisms, such as fungi, plants and animals. Do you know who discovered cells? Cells were discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665. He was an English scientist. He named them as cellulae, which were singularly known as cellula, which later turned into cells. Cells or cellulae means little room. We have different types of cells which are of different shapes and sizes, like red blood cells, white blood cells, nerve cells, bone cells, and in plants we find guard cells. The study of these cells is known as cell biology. In 1674, Anton van Leeuwenhoek, who was a Dutch scientist, studied living cells for the first time. He studied the cells of bacteria, fungi, protozoa and RBCs. Later, in 1831, Robert Brown discovered the nucleus in the cell. In 1839, J.E. Pachenjay discovered the living substance which is known as the protoplasm in the cell. Later, these Pachenjay cells were named after him, which are found in the neurons of the vertebrate animals. Cell theory was formulated by two German biologists, M.J. Schleiden and T. Schwann. The postulates of cell theory are: bodies of all living organisms are made up of cells and their products. Activities of an organism is the sum of activities of its cells. Cells develop from the pre-existing cells. Cell is the structural and functional unit of every living being. The smallest cell is PPLO, that is mycoplasma. The largest cell is ostrich egg. The longest animal cell is nerve cell, and the longest plant cell is sclerenchyma fibers. So now we will study about the composition of a cell or the structure of a cell. Cell, it is a tiny mass of protoplasm that is bounded by a membrane and is applicable for carrying out various life processes. The protoplast is the mass of protoplasm in the cell. Cell has three main parts or three typical parts. Number 1, plasma membrane, number 2, nucleus, and number 3, cytoplasm. So first of all, we will study about the plasma membrane. It is also called the cell membrane. It is found in inside the cell. It is found inside the cell, which keeps the cell away from the outside world, or which separates the cell from the outside world. It consists of a bilayer of lipids, which is known as phospholipids and proteins. Now let's talk about the functions of plasma membrane. First of all, shape. It provides a rigid shape to the content of the cell. Next, it acts as a mechanical barrier protecting the internal content of the cell. And as it is selectively permeable, it allows only selected materials to enter the cell or pass through them. Next is endocytosis. Endocytosis means it enables the cell to engulf the food and other substances which are around it. Next is osmosis. Osmosis is the process of transfer of water from higher concentration to lower concentration. Next is diffusion. Diffusion is the movement of substances from higher concentration to lower concentration. It requires a semi-permeable membrane. It takes place in solid, liquid and gaseous medium. Whereas osmosis, it only takes place in liquid medium. So the type of osmotic solutions are: number 1, hypotonic solutions. Hypotonic solutions. Number 2, isotonic solutions. And number 3, hypertonic solutions. Now we will talk about the types of osmosis. There are 2 types of osmosis: endoosmosis and exoosmosis. Endoosmosis means osmotic entry of water in the cell, and exoosmosis means osmotic withdrawal of water from the cell. Now comes to the importance of osmosis. Why osmosis is important? So first of all, osmosis is very important for the plants, as the root hairs absorb water and nutrients from the soil with the help of this process known as osmosis. Number 2, cell-to-cell water movements. In our body, cell needs water. So, for the cell-to-cell water movement, osmosis is required. For the opening and closing of stomatas, we need osmosis.